Like I put in the last. Wait, I don't understand your question, Jack. What's the? Can you?
Emotional
Well, it doesn't seem like
disentanglement.
Sean is being that aggressive towards you. Why are you being so aggressive towards him?
Well, he came in the text chat today and said that my argument is self-defeating, even though, like, which I think is dishonest of him because we've discussed this multiple times before and he fails every time. And obviously, from talking to him now, he doesn't have some new objection. He's just saying the same old shit he always does.
Yeah, but why are
I'm
you so
confused what
insulted?
you mean by self-defeating, Sean. I'm just,
Sean,
I'm trying
why
to
do
follow.
you know this is going on my YouTube too?
Yeah, but why are you so
Good. I love it when you humiliate
what?
yourself on your own
So,
YouTube
so
channel.
Sean,
see now
nobody thinks that, and
That's
nobody believes that
hilarious
you
to me.
think that either.
it's gonna be harder for me to defend Sean when he's doing the same thing.
Why? I'm just responding to her. It's true. I don't care that she's going to upload stuff to her YouTube channel that she humiliates herself. I'm not bothered by it, and if you think that I'm humiliating myself, I'm not bothered by that either.
Yeah, but it's transparent that you're humiliated. Like right now, when you couldn't name, you accused me of being guilty of a fallacy, but you couldn't even name the fallacy. Don't you
The
think that, at the
fallacy of
very least, don't you
self-defeat.
think that's sad? Don't you think that's sad,
Self-defeat
Sean?
is a fallacy.
What are you talking about?
If the reasoning in your argument concludes that
Can
your
you give me
argument
a
is
link that
invalid,
says that?
it's
Can
a
you give me a link
fallacy.
that says that? What?
Just look it up, dog. I'm
It's
at
an
the grocery
error in
store.
reasoning. What error in reasoning is it?
Just look it up, dog.
Self-defeating might be the result of some fallacy, but it's not a fallacy of itself. Can you find anybody that agrees with you about that? Can you find a link that says that? And by the way, you are just like you were asked before what fallacy was it? You were asked twice and you couldn't name one. So now, like out of
No, you
desperation,
don't
you're
think
grasp.
self-defeat
I
is a
wasn't finished.
fallacy? I do.
I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished.
Wait, are
Uh,
these videos popular, Godless?
oh my God, this one, it's like this one today is getting more views. I mean, it was only uploaded 3 hours ago, but it's getting more views than normal than like my fucking Dan Barker video and my Jack Angstrike and my Darth Dawkins videos. People love this shit.
Wait, so
They
how
love
many views are we
these
talking about? Like, what would be like a high amount that you expect to get?
more than one an hour is a high amount for my channel right now because I took a
No,
break
but
for a year.
How many
I mean,
views
more than one a minute.
cumulatively? Yeah, but how many views like at the end of the spike?
Oh, in the end, it will be over 1,000 is more than average for my channel. It used to get
How,
more than that, but since I started back
how
up, it's because I
much?
took a break for a year. If it's
Wait,
more than 1,000, that's more than what my channel's been getting since I.
oh, okay.
And this
But
one, I
1,000
can
is
tell
not that much.
by the
But
start that this one's gonna get more than 1,000.
but didn't you used to get more views?
Yeah, it's because I took a break for a year and didn't upload anything for a year, so it's all.
Oh, so you have to rebuild your subscriber base?
Yeah, the algorithm's all messed up. Jack is trying to deflect to save Sean. Jack, is self-defeating a fallacy?
I don't think so. But I
Well,
mean,
Sean thinks it is.
I suppose if you know what an informal fallacy is kind of like, it doesn't seem to me to be well defined. I mean, actually, probably Detroyer has more informed views on this. So, you might want to ask him. But, because the thing is, there are things that are kind of like considered uh, a dialectical error of some type that are um, not necessarily something like invalidity and inference. So for instance, like take a circular argument, right? A circular argument is actually formally valid, right? So what is the mistake there, right? Well, it seems like the mistake has to do with why it should actually compel your opponent, right? Or why anybody who the argument is being presented to should be compelled by it if they don't actually accept that premise, right? Or that's at least one aspect. There's probably more you could say about what's wrong with circular arguments than that. Um, So maybe there's some way in which a self-defeating proposition, well, a self-defeating argument. I mean, I'm not even sure what the self-defeat. Yeah, I guess maybe there's a way you could think of an argument as self-defeating. Yeah, maybe that could be considered some kind of like informal fallacy or dialectical mistake. But I don't know whether like people who work on applied logic have ever said that. You know, maybe Detroyer would know.
Okay, Sean, so what's the argument that my position is self-defeating?
Your argument contains defeaters for some of its own defeasible premises.
What's the defeaters? It's my position that no beliefs are justified.
Premise
So I
one.
see if you thought if like you pointed out that I do have a justified belief, that would be a defeater for my position, right? Can you point out where I have a justified belief? Pointing out that I have
What? No,
unjustified
that
beliefs is
that
just
wouldn't be the defeater.
substantiating my position.
I'm trying to explain it to you, but I don't know if it's just a waste of time.
No, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, we're all listening.
So premise one of the argument is like knowledge is knowledge requires justification. That's an unjustified claim. So that's a defeater. Your conclusion defeats your premise.
What do you? I don't understand what you just said. Look, all it takes for to accept a premise is just to believe it's more plausible than not. And I believe that it's more plausible than not, but I don't think I'm justified in believing the first premise is true.
Yeah, you don't
Well,
get to just believing things are plausible for no reason. That's also self-defeating.
Everybody does.
Aha. That's another error in your reasoning. You think everybody is self-defeating when they think something is plausible.
I don't think that they're. What do you mean they're being self-defeating? I'm just thinking. I think that they're unjustified. Like people.
Well, yeah,
will
you think
claim to be justified.
you think belief that something is plausible. You think they believe that for no justifiable reason.
Yeah, I don't think they have justification for believing that because I don't think that people have justification for believing anything. Like,
Right,
can you
so they
can you name? Do
that's
you
what
have
makes something
justification for
plausible.
believing anything? Can you like give me a belief that you think you're justified in believing?
You were
And
right
give me the
that people
justification
believe
for it?
things on the basis of their plausibility. Plausibility must be based on justification.
Look, no, I can believe that something is plausible without being justified in believing that.
No, you can't, because that's the conditions for plausibility.
What are you talking about? No, it's not.
So what are the conditions for plausibility? What determines that one
To
thing
think
is
that
more
it's more
plausible
likely
than
than not.
another?
To think something is plausible is to
For
believe that
what
it's more
reason?
likely than not.
That's just saying the same thing in different words. There has to be a reason. And if you negate justification, you can't say
It
that anything
depends.
is more plausible
It
than
depends.
something else.
Look,
It's a self-defeating argument. You're self-defeated. You're done.
Yeah, you're just saying that. Look, you can have reasons for your beliefs. That doesn't mean that you're justified in believing them. So I could give you. It depends on what you're saying. What the claim is that what's plausible, right?
Which wouldn't be related to plausibility. That would be like some practical appeal to practicality or something, which has nothing to do with plausibility. Plausibility is
I don't see
epistemic.
why it would have to be appealing to anything.
Plausibility has to do with knowledge. It has to do with truth, whether something is more likely true or not. Practical reason has nothing to do with truth. You're embarrassing yourself.
You have no idea what you're talking about, Sean.
You're an
Are you
embarrassment.
reading this somewhere? Do you have a link? Like, why do you think this?
Nope, I'm just that smart. I was just
So
literally
you think
born
that
with all this
nobody can
knowledge.
believe that something is plausible without having a justified reason to believe it? Justification for believing it? Like it would be. So you're saying.
If
So
you
what
just
you're saying
think about
entails.
it, of
Excuse me, I'm
course.
not finished. Excuse me, I'm not finished. So what you're saying entails that it's impossible that somebody believes something is plausible because of an intuition. What's the argument for that?
No, intuitions count as
Watch him fail.
justifiers. Intuitions count as justifiers.
What's the argument for that? An intuition is just a fucking feeling. What? Oh, Sean, you just hung yourself now. What's the argument that intuitions raise the probability that your belief is true, bitch? Watch him fail. Watch, he won't be able to do it. Give me a
exactly.
yeah, watch, give him, yeah, Sean, give me a non-question begging argument
just
that
think about what you're
intuitions are
saying.
justifiers.
Just
What's the
think about
argument that
what you're
intuitions are
saying.
justifiers?
Just
Watch him
think
not
about
answer.
what you're saying.
What's the
Yeah, I'm going
argument?
to answer you. I'm going to answer you. Just think about what you're saying. You think something is plausible. You have if you
You're
base
no,
that,
you're
if you
dodging. You're
base its
dodging.
plausibility, just let me finish. If you base that plausibility on an intuition, there's a basing relation between the intuition and the plausibility, right? But at the same time, you're saying it's not serving as a justification. Then all you're saying is that you haven't raised the plausibility or the probability. Plausibility and probability are like interconnected, right? Something seems plausible for a reason, right? So you can't make something more plausible if it doesn't do anything to make it the proposition true, more likely true than not. And that's what you're saying, is it doesn't. So you don't make any proposition. You can't make any proposition seem plausible. It's impossible.
Are you done? Okay, so I didn't follow what you just said, but it doesn't matter because you weren't answering the question. Just like I said, and he's just gonna try to like deflect and not answer the question. So that's my prediction for when I ask him the question and mute my mic again, is we're gonna see the same thing that we just saw now. I asked Sean. Sean claimed that intuitions are justifiers. What the fuck is he talking about? What's the argument for that? What possible non-question begging argument could you give for that? Now we're going to ask Sean again, and I want the room to notice how Sean will fail to answer the question. He'll start talking about some other nonsense like plausibility, which I'm happy to talk about that. I just want Sean to either acknowledge that he's incapable of giving an argument that intuitions are justifiers, or I want him to give an argument that intuitions are justifiers. Watch him fail. Everybody watch. Sean, what's the
What's your
argument that
question?
intuitions are justifiers?
On my theory of knowledge, okay, justification, on my theory of knowledge, all foundational beliefs are based on intuitions. That just means that I accept non-inferential justification. In fact, it forms the basis for my theory of knowledge.
Foundational beliefs are unjustified by definition. So you're just contradicting yourself because you're saying that intuitions are justifiers and that you have the intuition that foundational beliefs are true, but foundational beliefs are unjustified by definition. So what you're saying is, you stupid, retarded, asinine, moronic fool, you fucking idiot, is that you have justification for beliefs that are not justified. You look
What's the
like a
argument for that?
fucking clown right now. I just told you. By
You just made a
definition.
claim.
It's true by definition. By definition,
Prove by
foundational beliefs.
definition. What does that mean?
Yeah. Look, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to repeat it if you didn't understand. By definition, foundational beliefs are unjustified. But you're claiming that you have foundational beliefs that are justified.
Just repeating the claim. Saying X is defined as
What do you
such
want to...
isn't an argument.
Wait, are you denying that foundational beliefs, axioms, are unjustified by definition?
Yes, that's my whole theory of knowledge.
Oh, give me... Oh, you have some
That's just classic
idiosyncratic... You have
foundationalism.
some idiosyncratic... That's not classic foundationalism. You're a fucking clown, Sean.
Okay, buddy. That's just what foundationalism means. It means some
No.
propositions are non-inferentially justified. They're
No,
justified in
that's not...
themselves. They're not justified by other beliefs.
You just said they're justified by intuitions. You're just contradicting
Intuitions
yourself
are not
again.
beliefs. Intuitions are not beliefs.
Look, are they justified or unjustified? Because and last night you were saying that they're justified on their face, and now you're saying they're justified by an intuition. So which is it?
The beliefs that you form from an intuition are justified. Intuitions I said they're justifiers. I said intuitions are justifiers. Means
Yeah,
they
what's the argument for
justify
that?
other things
Yeah, so do you have
while
justification
being
for that?
unjustified, while
Yeah, so
being
do you have
neither justified
justification for
nor
that?
unjustified,
Yeah, so
while being
do you have justification for that?
while being neither unjustified nor justified in themselves.
Okay, so do you have justification that intuitions are justifiers? You're just saying on my theory that intuitions are justified. What's the argument for that? Like just stating on my view, that's
There's no
what my
argument for that.
opinion
That's
is.
just my theory of
Oh, you
knowledge.
don't have an argument, so you don't have justification that intuitions are justifiers. So
What's
your
the argument for
belief,
that?
excuse me, I'm not finished. So your belief that intuitions, fucking feelings, raise the probability that a belief is true because you fucking feel a certain way, that's an unjustified belief. So your
What's the
fucking
argument?
position, your
What's
position
the
is
argument?
self-defeating. Look, if you
What's the
don't,
argument?
why, if you don't have justification, if you don't have a reason to think that it's more probable than not that intuitions raise the probability that your beliefs are true, then it's not justified, is it? Because the definition of justification is raising the probability that a belief is true. So it's actually your position, Sean, that's self-defeating.
No, I do have a reason. I gave you the reason.
Oh, you're
And
contradicting
you gave
yourself
me
now.
no
Wait, you
argument
said
to
you
counter
don't
my
have a.
reason.
You said you don't. You just said you don't have a reason. Do you or do you
I
not
said
have
I don't have an
justification?
argument. An argument isn't
Okay.
just the
Oh, do
same
you
thing
have?
as a
Okay.
reason.
What's the justification that feelings raise the probability that beliefs are true?
It's not a feeling. An intuition is not. Okay. Well,
Oh, that's a red herring, Sean. What's
you
the
can
what's
describe
the
it that way if you want,
justification?
right?
Yeah, you're trying to do a red herring, and I'm not going to fall for it. What's the justification that intuitions raise the probability that beliefs are true?
Intuitions serve as justifiers.
Yeah, that's the claim. You're just restating the claim. What's the
Yeah,
justification for your claim?
there is no justification for it. There's
You
no
just said
argument
you
for it.
had
There's no
justification for
further
believing
argument
that.
for it.
Oh, so you don't have justification for believing that your intuitions are justifiers.
I don't
You're,
believe that you need an argument for everything. I explicitly
oh, so
stated
your
that
belief
under
that
my theory
intuitions,
of knowledge,
so your belief
under
that
my theory of
intuitions are
knowledge,
justifiers is unjustified. So
well,
why would
that's
we
an
listen to your?
assumption. That's an assumption that's an undefended assumption that you make.
Wait, I thought
That
you just
every
admitted to that. I
reason
thought you just admitted to
requires a
that. Wait, do you or
justification.
do you not have you just admitted to it, Sean. Do you or do you not have justification that intuitions raise the probability that a belief is true?
I don't accept your inferential. I don't accept your inferential assumption
You're
about
dodging the question.
justification.
You're dodging the question.
You just don't understand the answer. You want me to explain it to you?
Just it's a yes or no question. Do you have
No, it
justification
isn't.
that yes, it is. Yes, you answer yes or no. There's no third option, right? It's a true dichotomy. It's either the case that you have justification for believing that intuitions raise the probability that a belief is true, or it's not the case that you believe that there's justification for believing that intuitions raise the probability that a belief is true. Which is it, Sean?
I think your
You either
question is
answer yes or no,
malformed.
or give me a third
But the
option.
point is,
Wait, I'm
well, I don't
sorry.
even
Are
know
you
what you're
trying to dodge
asking.
what's the
I
answer to
can
the
try to
question?
explain to you what an intuition is again.
No, that's you're trying to dodge by doing that, Sean. I don't care what an intuition is.
I don't
On
know
your
even know what your
view,
question is. What's your question?
okay, I'll just repeat it again, even though it's transparent to everybody watching that you do understand the question that's been repeated multiple times, and you're just trying to buy your time,
Well, I'm
to
glad that
let.
you can
I'm not finished,
editorialize your
Sean.
own
You're being rude.
debate,
Excuse
and
me.
that makes you
Excuse me.
like
I'm not
feel
finished. I'm
justified
not
and
finished. You're being rude.
like you're
Can you please
successful in
wait
your
your
argument.
turn to speak? You're being rude.
I think you're being rude by editorializing in the middle of a debate.
Okay, Sean, you go ahead and talk, and then everybody can you sit here and listen to Sean bloviate, and then I'll ask the question
I'm just
again, and he'll
commenting
dodge.
on your meta-analysis.
Okay, go ahead and talk. Are you done?
Yep.
Okay, do you or do you not have justification for the belief that intuitions raise the probability that your belief is true?
Do I have justification for the belief that intuitions serve as justifiers?
Yep.
I do have justification for the belief that intuitions are justifiers.
Oh, what's the justification?
The justification is that all beliefs are fundamentally based on intuitions and non-belief mental states like appearances.
I don't understand how that's a justification, and that would also be begging the question against my view, which is that all beliefs, including foundational beliefs, are unjustified.
It's just saying there's a base. Well, of course, I already explained that
Wait, so
you make
what?
the
Can you repeat the
inferential assumption.
justification again? I didn't understand. What's the justification that intuitions raise the probability that beliefs are true?
There's a basing relation between
What does that mean,
intuitions.
basing relation? I don't know what basing relation means.
Means a belief is based on something else that's not a belief, like a mental state,
Okay.
like an intuition or an appearance
Okay.
or an experience, which are themselves neither justified nor unjustified. So you can have justification without inference.
Wait, I don't understand how you just inferred that. You can have
Well, maybe
justification.
you're
Did you say
conceptually
wait, I
impoverished.
didn't hear what you said. You said with or without no, you have to just restate what you said or repeat it or something. I just didn't follow it. I'm not saying that what you're saying is gibberish. Can you just say it again?
Yeah, you can have non-inferential justification on my theory of knowledge. Intuitions,
Yeah,
immances, these things are
that's the
non-belief
claim
states that
though. But
serve
that's
as
the
the
claim. That's the claim you're
bases
supposed to be
for
justifying.
foundational beliefs.
What's the that's the claim you're supposed to be justifying. What's the justification for that belief?
Well, usually we would point out like the flaws in other theories of knowledge, the fact that there has to be
Okay,
a
wait, let's
starting
deal with
point.
one thing at a time. So, pointing
Mhm.
out flaws in other theories of knowledge would just be to say, oh, well, look, all these other theories of knowledge are flawed, therefore mine, we just have to believe that mine is correct, or that's a reason to believe mine is correct. That's a fallacy. That's appeal to consequence. You've made an error in reasoning, sir.
Well, your skepticism about
Okay,
how
so the
knowledge
first
works
one you flunked, the
is
first
based
reason
on
you
the
flunked,
same
you made an error in
assumptions that
reasoning.
you
What's
feel
the
is
second? What's the
fallacious.
second thing you were gonna say? You failed. You flunked at the first one, Sean. So what's the second reason you were gonna say?
Wait, what was the first one that I failed on?
You said that a reason to believe that intuitions, the justification for believing intuitions raise the probability your belief is true, is because other theories of knowledge, there's error, there's problems in. But that is guilty of the fallacy of appeal to consequence. So you made an error in reasoning. So that can't be one of your reasons, right? Because that's fallacious
How do you
reasoning.
know appeal to consequence is a fallacy?
Wait, what do you mean? Do you want me to get you a link? I don't understand what you're saying. You're trying to turn this back on my position. We're doing an internal critique of your position.
Well, the
Like,
point is you either assume it to be true or you have a chain of inferential reasons that lead you to the belief that appeal to consequence is a fallacy. So which is it?
wait, do you disagree that it's a fallacy?
No, I'm simply pointing out
Oh,
the
okay. Yeah, so you're trying to
self-defeating nature of
deflect
your
by
skepticism.
you're trying to deflect by making this about my view, which I'm happy to talk about with you anytime you want for as long as you want. I just want to deal with one claim at a time. So we can get to that in a minute. Right now we're looking at your view. So actually, let's for the sake of argument grant for a moment that my position is self-defeating, right? But it doesn't matter because my position is irrelevant. Right now, we're doing an internal critique of your position.
No, you're
So,
not.
what
What's the internal
yes, I
critique?
am. I'm stepping into your worldview and reverse engineering for issues. So you claimed in your worldview that uh, you have justification for the belief that intuitions raise the probability that a belief is true. I'm still waiting for the non-fallacious reason that you believe that. What's the justification?
Yeah, I gave you the justification already, like 3
No,
times.
you said one justification, and well, one time you just restated the claim, and the other justification I pointed out is guilty of a fallacy. So you want to try a different one, Sean?
Well, you can't claim that it's guilty of a fallacy without making your own assumptions. You can't
In
do an
your
internal critique.
worldview, in your worldview, appeal to consequence is a fallacy.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by appeal to consequence. I'm not sure if that's
So you don't
maybe
understand.
it's
So
cashed out as like
when
sometimes fallacious and sometimes not. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
in what case would it not be fallacious? It's when you say in
Well, what do you
virtue
mean
of
by
the
appeal to consequence?
I'm going to tell you right now. It's when you say that in virtue of the consequences of not accepting this or accepting X, accepting or not accepting X, therefore there's consequences, therefore this other thing must be true. So you're saying because of the consequences, like not accepting my theory, there's errors in other theories of justification. So therefore, my theory must be correct because otherwise there would be no theory that is correct. Sean? Sean, your mic's muted.
Oh, I'm not
Okay,
really
he's a
following what
fucking
you're saying.
con. I'm gonna go take care of my baby. We can resume this as soon as like in about 10 minutes though. And this is definitely going on my channel.
Okay.
This is sad, Sean. Yeah, so when I come back, when we resume
For
this,
you,
are we gonna
yes, it
resume it?
is.
Then you're gonna have justification that intuitions raise the probability that a belief is true.
I already have justification.
Godless is hilarious.
That's true. That's true. Okay, looks like we have
She
open
is
lines for 10
so-
minutes.
She is so funny.
I love this
I think
Sean v
Sean
Godless
should
Girl
be.
saga as well. It's hilarious.
I think
It's like
Sean
gone on
should
for
be
like
focused.
2 months now.
She's just hilarious.
Yeah, we all know who's selling the tickets here.
Dude, Sean, this is gonna have more sequels than Fast and the Furious.
It's like
I think
yesterday was
Sean should
supposed to be the
be
final
She-
chapter.
Sean
Do you have
should
like
be
a
focusing
salve,
more on.
Sean? Do you have like a salve that you can apply to your wounds, or
Wait, what if
Sean,
Wait, what am I been wounded by, Mel?
so many burns? So many
Sean,
burns.
I
Oh,
think
can you? I'm
I
sorry.
just-
What's
I
the
just-
argument?
Oh well, we want to
don't-
save that.
I notoriously
for Godless
dislike Godless Girl, and I'm on her side.
Well,
Yeah,
I'd like to
save-
hear you try to defend her argument.
I'm not
Well,
taking,
no.
I'm not taking sides, but she's just hilarious.
I
Go ahead, JJ.
don't think we want to soil this this
Yeah,
debate
because you know
with
you
some
can't defend
more
you can't defend
arguments in the
Godless's argument.
intermission.
Yeah, you can't defend Godless's argument.
Well,
Mount can't defend Godless's
Maybe
argument.
I can, maybe
Nobody
I can't.
can.
It's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah,
Sean
no,
should
it
be-
really is.
I think.
Why doesn't
unjustifiably-
somebody here? Why doesn't one
I
of these
believe
ankle biters in here steal man Godless's
unjustifiably-
argument for me?
Not
I
ankle
can.
biting. It's just.
But
fun.
I don't want to do that now during the intermission. I just want to suggest maybe, Sean, you find better writers. That's my only bit of advice.
I think Sean JJ should be focusing on how Godless can criticize any position from her position, because I think that's the Achilles heel. Like, she's very upfront that she's not claiming to really be able to criticize anything. She's just giving her perspective. So that's, I think, where I would stick it at.
No, she made it clear she's doing an internal critique. So she's taking on at least elements of Sean's worldview to critique it.
So in order to critique like someone's worldview, you have to believe that you have the ability to do so. But from Godless Girl's worldview, she doesn't have the ability to critique. She's just critiquing, and she would say that too within it. But that's where I would just,
I
would
think
just hammer home. That would be it.
I think she would disagree. I think she would say she does have the ability to critique.
Yeah, but her
It might
claim
be-
is unjustified by her own
It
life.
I
might
actually
be
think she
it
would
might
say
be
no.
that her critique is based on beliefs that are unjustified, but who cares? That's irrelevant.
I don't
I
think she
care.
would say that
That's
she
what
has
we're
the.
at. That's what we're
It's
that's what we are
irrelevant-
looking
it's
for in arguments. That's the point of
irrelevant.
argumentation.
It's irrelevant to an internal critique here.
It's irrelevant if you ignore all the norms of argumentation.
I don't.
But in order to do an
See how that
internal
applies.
critique, you have to believe that from your position you have the ability to do an internal critique. But she's not justifying the I. She's not saying that she has a position or that she has a methodology to interpret reality. So I mean, that's just I think that's the only
Doesn't
area
matter.
Sean can go for this.
That doesn't matter if she can justify anything. She can still critique.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
It just means you don't have a proper critique. Like, so like for example,
No,
if
none
it's
of
like,
that's
it's like I'm
none of that is
criticizing you,
relevant.
JJ, but hold on, JJ. It's like I'm criticizing you, but then you ask me by what grounds are you criticizing me, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't have any grounds to criticize you. That's kind of, I think, Sean's
irrelevant.
only area to go in this.
Yeah, and that would be akin to sophistry. And so I expect
Motivation.
Sean-
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
Motivation is the point of argumentation, JJ. If you're saying that nothing that you're saying is unmotivated, or is motivated, then you've achieved
think that's
nothing,
true.
and that's the point.
I don't know why you say it's unmotivated. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, something has to be motivated by a reason. You have to have
Maybe.
a good reason that motivates your view, and that others would be motivated by
good
to
reason?
accept your view.
A good
Yeah.
reason or a reason?
A good reason, an epistemic reason. If I just say,
An epistemic reason.
you should believe my view because you would really enjoy it, or it would make you feel better going throughout your day, that would be like appealing to some practical reason, but that doesn't have any force in argumentation. Argumentation is based on epistemic reasons to believe that things are true.
Epistemic reasons.
Well, you choose. You
Yes, the
usually.
point of argumentation is to advance a true position.
In this case, Godless is not trying to. She's not trying to advance a position, but she's critiquing him from a position while maintaining that she doesn't believe she has a position to critique from, and so that would be like another potential derived issue. I'm basically just doing this because I want to see that Sean's and Godless argument progress because I think they're stuck, and I think this is a better area
Well,
to progress.
that's not my fault, James. That's just the nature of epistemic nihilism. Like, there's nowhere to progress if you can't move the epistemic nihilist off their position. They can't argue for anything. That's the point.
And you're saying you can't even argue for epistemic nihilism.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Now,
technically, it's
that's
a
actually a
position
different problem for her, right? Because the claim of internal critique is actually false, because she's asking me for justification, but what she means by justification is an inference. And I've already explained to her that justification, on my view, comes in two species, inferential and non-inferential. She's just saying she doesn't know what non-inferential justification means, which is just an appeal to incredulity, and I'm not interested.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I never said that. You're trying to non-infringement. She's drinking her bottle,
I've
so
got
sorry
some
I have to
things
be
to
back.
do at work, so
Oh,
I'll talk to you guys later.
oh
Have a
yeah,
good one for
he's
now.
gonna run away. He's gonna run away.
Boom! Put his sneakers on and dipped.
Did he just leave as soon as Godless came back?
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
Yeah.
That
So what I
means
missed
that's
was
not
it just
good, Sean.
was it just a retread of last night, or was anything new?
No, we debated again, and he
But was
lost
it
again.
the same thing or something different?
A little different. He was trying to say that intuitions raise the probability that your beliefs are true, and I asked him for justification for that, and he couldn't give it. He also tried to argue that my position was self-defeating and fouled.
I see.
We got
I
to be
was
coming up on 6 hours in this room. Do we want to start a new one?
Yeah, somebody else can start when I'm in the room.
That's simple. Outside of that, there is no unity or context of world peace. Now, there could be different races and different ethnicities and stuff under the Christian context. It's diversified in that way, unified in that way, but it's not unified in the sense that we can have differing worldviews and somehow coexist at the same time. The only reason, in my view, why we could coexist in places like America with the Muslim and with the atheist is because we have God that is the foundation of our framework that tells us to love our enemies.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That certainly doesn't come from any other framework at all. And the fact that we're image bearers. And they take the things of God and they make them into a lie, or they try to reconfigure them into something else.
Yeah, it's literally well, God, humans' nature just acting out of the flesh because humans we don't create anything, we just remake things. God is
Yep.
the only creator, so we remake things, and literally by their nature they're doing exactly what a human who doesn't accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior and abide by Christian doctrine is doing. They're remaking things. They're remaking their own ideas. They're remaking their own values. They're remaking their own morals. They're making their own ethics. And wow, yeah.
I agree.
It's interesting though, because even in the non-secular world, there's so many more I'm sorry, even in the secular world, there are more people who are acknowledging, oh, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and the vibration that you're on is so important, to how your life plays out or what you're able to manifest. And so, to a certain degree, I understand that people are they're getting closer on the bootleg, but they're going to need something stronger than just spiritual. They're going to need something biblical. It's going to wear off. It's not going to be as effective.
Oh yeah, man. All things eventually pass away, but the kingdom of God is here yesterday, today, and forever. Everything else withers away, and everything else is only on sinking sand.
Yeah, that kind of makes me think about the country, though. Like, I kind of feel like